low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Man, it's hard not to bob your head a little bit when that song comes on. But today, there was a little bit of a bounce. We have talked about some key levels that we hit today, the 2022 high. We'll look at it on the charts, but all is not lost. So, you know, we want to be here and give you some good news. We are going to follow it up, obviously, with a little bit of FUD because we got to do that part of the segment as well. But I'm super excited to get this party started. We're giving you all of the market news and technical analysis that sets you up for tomorrow. We're doing this every Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I'm not doing this alone. I got to bring up my guy, FD White, with his new intro. There it is. He's got his own intro music.
I love it.
What's up?
I love it, man.
FD,
TradeFly,
how you doing?
feeling, man? I'm doing good, man. I can't complain, man. It started a new week. Had a nice little scare over the weekend, but I'm ready to hop into it, ready to jump into it, and ready to navigate these markets.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. So how did Trade Wars go today?
Oh, it went good, man. I didn't get put out, and I don't have to face Crypto Face Thursday, so I say a good week.
That's a win.
Good day.
That's a win.
Yeah, that's a win. Yeah.
There it is,
That's
man.
definitely a
Cool.
win.
All right. Well, let's go over to the chat here. Let's see who we got going. And we got Mr. J. He's first in the chat with the airplanes. We got Hart with a yo. We got Wix, wife, fine, 8 and 9. How you doing? We actually met in Nashville. They were super, super cool. She said, what's up? And then Army Piper's in the chat. He said, let's get it. French Toaster just dapping it up. I got you, sir. Let's do it. Hola, my friend. Caffeinated Crypto in the house. Justin Eubanks, yo, good afternoon, alumni. Much love to you, man. We really appreciate you. He's always showing us love on Twitter, you know, reposting everything. He's really awesome about that. Let's see here. And Army Piper looking like stocks down, I'm guessing he's saying. Alexander G, best mod in the house. And yep, TradeFly hung out with us at Karaoke Bar in Nashville. That's right, we did. And then Wick, the man himself, is in here. What's going on? My guy, ArcBit, Elo Degens. All right. Well, let's start getting into some of the news here. We got all kinds of things to talk about. And first up, Bitcoin mining was never banned in China. Now, this is interesting because I'm not going to lie to you. At some point in some of the videos that I made previously, like this was part of my little FUD segment. And so I talked about this kind of being a negative, but it looks like they pulled the okey doke. And who is not surprised by that? Because I'll be honest, I'm not. China is actually one of the leaders in mining. So let that sink in for a minute. So go ahead over to Bitcoin Magazine, check out this article. They really do a deep dive in it, but wanted to throw that out there. So it's not all bearish news. On to Europe's fourth largest investment manager discloses that 500 million in spot Bitcoin ETFs amid market volatility. So I'm telling you, the bigger institutions and conglomerates are still investing in Bitcoin. They're still holding Bitcoin. They have not been shooken out of the market yet. So, you know, I see, and to be honest with you, like, I'm gonna go over to the duo cam here. Looking at Twitter, it kind of looks a little bit like doom and gloom, and people are, you know, a little bit upset, right? They're seeing their portfolios pull back, but I haven't seen a lot of people saying, I'm out. I haven't seen a lot of people walk away and saying, like, I'm done. It's almost like we're starting to get these iron stomachs because we've been here before. This kind of pullback is not that surprising. And to be honest with you, if you guys have been watching Piper Academy, we've been calling for this for a long time. So we've given you kind of that precursor to be like, hey, like this is on the horizon. It could happen, but there's some significant levels underneath of you. Don't get shook out yet. So FD, I would love to hear how you're feeling and what you're thinking about it.
Yeah, man. So a lot of people aren't getting shaken out because a lot of us have been in the space for a while. It's not like we're at the peak of the market or peak FOMO. of the market where a lot of new people have come in, a lot of new people who aren't used to the space. A lot of us are used to the space. Yeah, a lot of us are used to, these big dips. We don't like them, but we know what's going to happen in the end. And hopefully, we bounce from here and we stay up from these levels that we're going to look at a little bit later in the stream. So that's just one of the things I'm trying to look at and trying to keep a composure on my end.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we still got some really key levels, and like you said, we'll look at it on the charts, but all is not lost yet. But Piper with a funny comment here. He said, "Everything is fine. My portfolio isn't in the fetal position in the corner right now." So,
Right. Yeah, Bitcoin is bouncing, but these altcoins are still, some of these are bear market lows and below. So
it
we'll have to see.
could be opportunity, but that has been the trend. I will say that I've I'm personally more bullish on Bitcoin than I have been in a long time, right? I think people are really starting to see the true value of Bitcoin. That's the one that has gotten the institutional investment. That's the one that's going to get the regulation. That's the one that everyone is talking about, right? So, of course, like you're gonna see that one be a little bit more steady, and basically stand the test of time in terms of some of these altcoins that really have been promising utility that they haven't delivered on in a couple years. I won't say any names, Ada. So let's go ahead and get into our little FUD segment. All right. So this one really comes from my world a little bit, but it does have an impact on the rest of the global markets. And Iran actually sent some missiles over into Iraq, and it happened to strike Al Assad Air Base, somewhere I have actually been to in Iraq back in 04, 05. So I'm very familiar with that base. And unfortunately, this could really, really raise some tensions. And I'll be honest with you, we've never been so close to having a legitimate like war that involved multiple countries. All right. I'm not gonna say we're going to world war or anything, but there's people that are taking sides and it's getting more and more serious. And with that, like Iran is really posturing to attack some Israel, really. That's really the main threat, the main thing that a lot of people are concerned about. If that happens, man, it's gonna get nutty. But what impact does that have on some of the defense industry? Well, looky, Lockheed Martin shooting through the roof, right? So keep an eye on some of the defense stocks. If you guys are into some of the traditional stocks, Vice, just crypto, look at Northrop Grumman. What else? Some of the big ones there. Trying to think. Uh, drawing a blank. But anyways, just look at some of the defense industry stocks. They might be a good play during a time of war, obviously.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
uh,
definitely. You know
yeah,
what?
that's
I know the tension. I know things are like you said are closer than ever before. I'm actually literally just got somebody wanted me to fill the application out for a base to do some logistics work. So I'm not gonna say the name out there, but I know I'm like, okay, people are a lot of these companies are laying off or not hiring, but the defense contractors and the actual, they're hiring because they're getting this money and they're preparing. They got to build this stuff, they got to get this stuff in and out because they got to be safe. So it's definitely one of those times to be cautious.
yeah, no, absolutely, and that's really the word of the day, right? Just be cautious, and we're trying to give you everything there. And Wick said, where was he? Geez, TradeFly, what in the world with that Iraq business, Iraq talk, recession talk? We back in 2008, 2009. Hey man, I'll tell you what, I made some of my best investments in 2008 and 2009. So let that
Right.
sink in, man. That's when I went in hard, and some of the big tech stocks like Apple, and those have done really, really well for me over
Mhm.
time. So,
You know
keep
what? And
that in mind.
a lot of if you really ask people or you dig deep, a lot of wealthy people got wealthy during tough times. Like if you look at real estate millionaires now, they got a lot of them got wealthy during 2008. A lot of people, these wealthy, huge wealthy families got wealthy during turbulent times. So, these are opportunities, like you said.
Absolutely, dude. And I mean, they had the housing market crash back then too. So a lot of people sucked up a lot of real estate thinking about it, and they were able to also get a lower interest rate back, back 2019, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
interest rates went down to about two and a quarter to 2.5, right? So you get the properties cheap, and then over time you're paying towards it. Most likely you're having someone else pay towards it, right? You're probably going to rent it out or something when you buy the real estate back then. And then you're able to get a lower interest rate on top of it. So a lot of people are sitting really pretty on some of their real estate investments, just from buying during that time frame, like you said. The other thing is, like, you think about, like, a lot of people that are very wealthy, like you said, they took out these massive loans and they bought up commercial real estate. And one of the places that's actually struggling really hard with commercial real estate, if you read up, is in New York City. So commercial real estate is tanking around there, and people probably are going to start sucking that up. And what you're going to see is that people that invest now when times are tough are the ones that are going to be sitting pretty probably 10, 15 years. So enough about real estate because I know we're not here for that. But let's go ahead and get over to the market pulse. And the first thing we got up is going to be the total market cap, and that is sitting at $1.91 trillion. So we're under that 2 million or 2 trillion mark, and that's down 6.75%. Total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is going to be 247.12 billion, which makes a 218.27% increase. It is getting nutty, and you can see it in the volatility, right? Every time I looked at my phone, I'm coming out, I'm checking it, and I'm seeing it at 54, then I'm seeing it at 51, and then I'm seeing it at 53, and then I'm seeing it at 50. So like it is moving all over the place. People are moving funds quick, and it feels like some people are getting shook out a little bit while other people are just kind of snatching up because $50,000 Bitcoin, not so bad when you think about it. We kind of talked about Micro Saylor and some of the other bigger institutions. They were still buying in the 60s, no problem. So let that sink in a little bit when you're thinking about where Bitcoin is right now and where you think Bitcoin's going to be in the future. Bitcoin dominance is currently at 55.88%, decrease of 0.02% over the day. No big news there. Fear and greed index sitting at 31. Fear, told you that one's going to take a big drop. I said that yesterday. We are now going to start pushing our way down. But if Bitcoin gets its bounce, which it looks like it's doing right now, Bitcoin is actually up over the last hour, 2.23%, and it's up to 55.6. All right, so that's only down 1.88% over 24 hours and 16.13 over 7 days. So we are seeing a little bit of a bounce. All right, so there's willing buyers in that area. And again, it's something we can look at on the charts because there is a nice wick off of that 2022 high. Ethereum is sitting at $2,519. That's up 3.27% over the last hour and only down 3.42% over 24 hours. So, it's not too crazy. We're having a little bit of recovery here. We'll see if this holds up. There's a key level that we do have to look at. And again, wait a minute because we got to get to the chart so we can talk about those areas. All right, over to the economic calendar. One of the things I was looking at was the ISM, the services PMI. So that actually rose to 51.4, and I think that was actually above expectations. It was. All right. So, I guess that's a good thing. I'll leave that stuff to Piper, man. He's a freaking wizard with all that. But let's go ahead and go back here. Next up, though, we have PPI month over month. That's going to be August 13th. August 14th is going to be big. You got core inflation rate month over month, core inflation rate year over year, inflation rate month over month, and inflation rate year over year. So 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff coming up here that week. So be on the lookout for that. Let's go over to the crypto bubbles and look at this. When I had this up initially before I actually started, there was only two things on here that were green. It was Teo and something else. I don't know where it's at now, but now it looks like we're getting a little bit of positive movement, and it's moving kind of quick. Bread is up 15.8%. That was, I believe, still in the red when I initially pulled this up before the show. HNT, which is helium, that's up 12.8%. Mantl's up 8.7. OM Mantra is up 10.9%. And then you do still have some things in the red, but near Ton, HTX, but it looks like we're seeing a little bit more green, so that's good news. All right. Liquidations. Let's talk about that. In the past 24 hours, 265,109 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations comes in at 1.06 billion. The largest single liquidation order happened on Binance, and that was Ethereum USDT valued at 13.42 billion. I will say typically the average when you're looking at this is somewhere between 2 and 5 billion, or sorry, 2 and 5 million. So still pretty high on the liquidation side. Yesterday was as high as, I want to say, it was like 23 million. So it's coming down, right? So that's probably good news that you're not seeing as large of liquidations. You're seeing something smaller because a lot of that liquidity was actually cleared out. And here is the liquidation heat map that we have been talking about for months on Piper Academy. Months. Okay. So we've been in this range since February of this year. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about is all this liquidity that was sitting down here under this previous range. And we've been saying we think we need that to be cleared out because when we were talking about this wasn't even hot yet. This is new, okay? Because we keep getting these hits of resistance. It's built up some liquidity on the top side of that because people are now shorting the market because they're expecting it to go down. So they're sitting very, very pretty right now. Highly recommend for those that short it from here, probably take those profits, but who am I? Anyways, we came down here and we cleared out this liquidity. All right. So now look to the bottom of the liquidity. This is very, very important. You look to the bottom. What do you see? Nothing. So what's the incentive to keep driving the prices lower? The only thing that would drive the prices lower in my mind is that we actually do go into a formal recession or there is a legitimate war that breaks out. And that's the two things that I could really see the big factors to drive price down. And that's only because the entire market will be pulling back, not just crypto. But there's no incentive for crypto in my mind. The liquidity has been cleared out. Where's the hot spots now? It's actually to the top side. So there's some bullish news for you. I'm not saying like, hey, this is going to play out. I'm not going to start screaming for us to come to these levels like here and there because there's a lot of things we have to look at on the charts. So there's a lot of resistance to the top side that we still have to make it through. And I mean, if you're really talking about the structure, we are setting in a shorter time frame or a local. You got a set of lower highs and lower lows, right? So really, that structure is a little bit bearish, but again, that could actually be playing into a bigger pattern that we could talk about on the charts as well. So all kinds of things to look at, but
Yeah.
with that just we cleared out the liquidity, and that was the big thing I've been talking about. That clears us up now to make that move for continuation to the upside. So,
Right.
all right, that's
Right.
about what I got here on the market pulse. And FD, you got anything you want to talk about there?
Yeah, man. Like we gotta remember, like this is not a crypto problem. Like crypto is suffering from this, but this is really not a just a crypto specific problem. So if markets start to get some type of bounce and markets start to move up a little bit more, of course, crypto is going to move faster. So because it's not a crypto specific problem. So that's one of the things that I'm really, really paying attention to is the overall economy and the overall sentiment. Going forward. And if we do start to level out or bounce, of course, crypto is going to be a hybrid of that and move faster than all these other markets.
Right on, right on. Just looking at the chat here, seeing what's going on. Looks like y'all are just rapping a little bit, which is cool. Talking about the hurricane. Hope everybody's safe if you are in Florida. Uh,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've been through a few of them. I was down in Florida for quite a bit. I did a lot of training down there. I actually went to college down there as well. So we have had some hurricane parties, and we've had some ones that said they were going to directly hit, and they just go through, and it really not much happening. So won't
Hopefully,
minimize
yeah.
it because sometimes they do wreak havoc. So hopefully everyone's safe down there. Be careful, and let's go over. I think it's some time for some TA, man. We got about 10
Yeah.
minutes. We can do some solid TA here. I'm gonna go
I just
ahead,
wanna
pass it
yeah.
over. Yeah, what's up? What you got?
I want to just look at Bitcoin really quick, and I want to keep it simple. Let's start on the daily because these are levels that I've had drawn out for like a long time. So I'm gonna go back to February of this year. It's like we were bumping our head when we first started our ascension from our upward sloping trend line, this macro upward sloping trend line that I was looking at. We came up and we started hitting our head on this level here in February, and we finally broke out of there. That's when we got our cycle highs over here, but we came, and this is what I was looking at when we started to come down and we started to crash. I said, okay, this is my area that I'm looking at. I know a lot of people are looking at 48. I know a lot of people are looking at 43, 48 is another one that people were looking at. So we came back to this level, came down, wick below it and popped right back up. And if we look at some of my oscillators and some of my indicators, looks like we're starting to form. I think we got a green dot coming in on the 4 hour. We got a double bottom here, as you see here on the 4 hour chart. So anytime I see double bottoms on higher time frames, especially like the 4 hour or the daily, that's my signal, to go a little bit long, especially once we take reclaim a range. So if we reclaim this range or we reclaim this support level, I'm long. I'm long. So I'm a little bit long from I think 54 2. So hopefully we keep going up. But I'm just looking at to take the stairs, like take the stairs up. We usually take the elevator down and we take the stairs up. So our range low is at about 59K to 60K. So if we can reclaim that, all this other stuff was kind of just noise. We're just back in our big range. So that's what I really want to see this week. If we can get back into our low range at about 59 to 60K, and then we'll start to test the 200 again. We'll start to test the 50, the 100. Well, this one is the 100. It's coming down. So about time we get back up here, if we can get back up here, we'll start testing those. And a lot of this will just be noise. It'll just have been an opportunity to accumulate more, opportunity to get long, and we'll see. We're not out of the woods yet, but it's looking good so far. But I'm not going to get too happy, not going to get too distraught. I just look at the signs, look at the charts, and let the charts, tell me what to do. And like I said, anytime I see these double bottoms like this on 4 hour time frames, man, that's a very good signal for me. So I usually keep it simple unless I'm like zoomed in, day trading or scalp trading on a macro level. These are good signs for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Let me see here. I'm gonna bring it on over to my charts here. Let me see if that came up. It did. Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look. See. All right, zoomed out. Let's look at the weekly. All right, talked about this channel a little bit yesterday and on some of the other episodes, but this right here is a pretty important line. Right, you can see it was kind of the bottom as we were moving up and right when we set a previous all-time high, and then it was actually really important when we broke down. Right, we came, retested it, broke down, and ultimately we got hung up on it when we came back up. So once we worked back up, you can see like it got hung up there. That's our range that we've been talking about that we wanted to come back down to because there was liquidity sitting there. And that's exactly where we came back, right? So we came back to that. But the important thing is looking at this trend line. All right. This trend line is going up and right. I think it's going to be pretty key, right? We're testing it right now, actually. It's going to be key in my mind to see if we're going to make that move up, if we're going to have like a nice little V-shaped recovery and work our way up. And when I say V-shaped recovery, I mean that on a very much of a shorter time frame. But I mean, look at this wick right now. All right, that wick is showing you that there is definitive buying pressure in that area. So I was not the only one looking at the liquidity sitting there and saying, hey, if we come down there, you're going to get a little bit of a cascading effect because you're going to clear out that liquidity. People get shook out, people get scared. And then you got to find where there's going to be support. Well, there's two things that lined up here. All right. And I talked about this on some different posts on Twitter. I don't know if it was on my own, but I definitely posted on a couple of people's, and I've been talking about on Piper Academy. But if you took this fib retracement here, sorry, this is a little bit busy, but the 0.5 aligned with the 2022 high. All right, so I just want to show you that. But now here, this is what you've been seeing here on the show, right? The 2022 high, and I talked about that yesterday. And sure enough, that is where we wicked off of it. That's a significant area when you're saying like, hey, like where can we find support? You go look for those previous highs, 2022, 2023, all right, 2021. Like, look at that. Look where we got rejected, 2021 high. Look where we found support, 2022 high. Like, put those on your chart. I promise you, like, you're going to see price action off of those areas. And, even if you're short term, if you're scalping or if you're day trading, like, those are levels like to keep an eye on. Now, how long will they hold up? I don't know, but like we haven't been flirting with them too much. So, I think you'll see price action off of them, at least the first time you interact with it, which is, really since we've been up to the all-time high, this is the first time we've come back down and interacted with that area. So I just wanted to point those out to you. Now, on the weekly, the good news is you still have some moving averages under you, right? You still have the 100, the 200, the 50, and this is the weekly, and then you have the dynamic reactor underneath of you as well. So all is not terrible on the weekly. Really, like if you zoom out a little bit, what do you see right now with this channel? You see up and right. All right, consistently up and right. Even when we had our bear market low, look at this. Once it came out of that low, it's been nothing but up and right. So again, I just, I want to give you I'll say a silver lining here. I think this is what we needed to happen before we can actually see continuation. Personal opinion. but I myself did buy at those levels. I told you that yesterday. So, there's, I believe
Yeah,
in the long
yeah, I
term,
believe it.
I believe in the long term, Bitcoin is still going to go up. And I'm trying to think of this, my HODL bag, as a long term investment. Where's it going to be in 10 years? It's
Mm,
going to be higher than where it is now. That's my
yeah.
personal belief. On the daily, just a quick look at that. All right. So on the daily, you do see that we got into oversold, right? So it's time for the prime oscillator to start coming up and right. We got that
Mhm.
nice wick off of there that I talked about. And then that's that area right here, right now at about 55.7, 55.8. It's a pretty important number. You could see a rejection off of here. If it does not reject off of there, I expect to see a pretty nice movement back up towards this support range. The support range currently sits at about 59,700 or 79, 59,800, somewhere in that range, to about 61,000. All right. On top of that, you have all of this resistance now on the daily. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be an easy fight. All right. If we push back up here, you got a lot of resistance to work through. Be careful, once you get up in these areas. But if you get on the top side of this, don't be scared. Like if you get on top of this and you see the OC retest, right here, like you see something like that, and then you see the prime oscillator moving up and right, don't be scared. All right. Now, especially on a short-term trade, like not financial advice, I can't give you that, but don't be scared to ride it up a little bit until you get to this area, at least on the shorter time frames, where you'll have some resistance, especially where this value area low is, the dynamic reactor, the 200 SMA is all sitting in one area. So that's kind of a short-term look-see, a value area low. That one's at 61.8. So you got, again, all kinds of resistance up there. So just be careful. Those are some key numbers that I'm looking for on Bitcoin on both the weekly and the daily. FD, you got anything else in
Yeah,
terms of,
yeah.
yeah,
You can share my
sweet. I'm gonna
screen.
pass it back to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
share
I
my
got you.
screen, and we're just looking at this, like the problem that really caused all this havoc was the Japanese stock. So it looks like we're getting a nice bounce. We were up 9% at one point, so we're up 8.57% today. So I don't know if it was in bear market territory. So in bear markets, you get violent dead cat bounces. So I want everybody to remember that, just so you can have that in the back of your head. It just doesn't go down a straight line. We might get a violent move down, a violent move up, and another violent move down. So just keep your eye out on this, because this is one of the things that everybody was saying was taking the markets down, the Japanese carry trade. So I'm looking at this right now, and I'm keeping my eye on this for further panic if it does start to roll over again. But this is a pretty good sign for markets going into tomorrow. So that's one of the things that I'm going to keep my eye out on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You got any smaller tokens, any alts you want to look at?
Um, let's see. I mean, we can look at
Yeah, pull something
anybody in
up.
the
Pull
chat
something
has
up.
anything? Let's pull up Solana. We can pull up Solana. Matter of fact, let's pull up Ondo right quick, because Ondo is
There
one of
you
the
go.
ones. This is one of my favorite
Yeah.
coins. Let me share this screen and share this tab instead.
Let's take a look. See.
Um, is my screen? Am I on
Yeah.
there?
Yep. Still
Okay,
got you.
cool. So I got all my levels drawn off for Ondo. So if you see here, this is my anything under this was my buy zone, because 85 cent was a major SR flip for me. So this is just like, this is Christmas for anybody who's in Ondo. Ondo is one of like BlackRock is heavy on Ondo. Ondo is one of the leading RWA projects, real world asset projects. So this was like, Christmas in August. So if you're getting anything under this, I got this line here. I want to flip this back into support, this 72 cent area, 72, 73 cent area. Flip that. I usually just take the steps. I take ranges. I take zones to get back into. So you see, we had a lot of activity here, a lot of liquidity, a lot of volume here back in April, May, or March and April. So I'm looking to get back into this zone, baby steps, start to bounce in here. If we can flip back up and get past this 85 cent mark, this is my line in the sand. This is like the midpoint for me. We get back above here, and now we're back in the races. But I want to take one step at a time and get back above this 72, 73 cent mark. If you're spot, if you're holding Ondo, if you want to hold Ondo, I think now, not financial advice, I think these are great areas to buy. As you see, my buy zone, anything in this area here is a gift, in my opinion, in my non-financial advice opinion. So That's all I'm looking at. Like usually I zoom out and I take, I just look at levels. I look at macro levels and I just want to take one step at a time. So here's my first step, here's my second step, here's my third step, and then here's the all-time highs up in that area. So we just want to start down here.
Nice, man. I dig it. I'm gonna go right back to the bubbles real quick, man, because I mean it is starting to move. I mean everything's kind of popping right now. Let's see here. Let's see if that pops up there. It is the bubbles. I mean, we just talked about Tao and Brett. They were at like what 15%. Now they're at like 24 and 26. I mean, I think there's only one thing we can do for this.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. Yeah.
I'm saying, man, don't get fudded out. I'm saying there's always going to be bounces, like you said, and that is something for consideration. I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. Did cat bounces are definitely a thing. It's definitely a big term that people talk about, and just be careful. Ando's getting a lot of love in the chat, man. I have some of that, and that was one thing I did think about. Putting some money into. I went heavy on Bitcoin. I got to be honest with you. But like you said, it's under a buy zone, so maybe it's not too late, and maybe I'll load up on some Mondo tonight as well. But damn, like things are looking good. Let's hope that we keep pushing up and right. But with that being said, man, I mean it's a short show. I'm like it's 6 o'clock. I think we might need to start making this a 45-minute thing, but
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know,
I'm
man.
actually, as soon as we get off, I'm seeing these bounces. I'm about
He's
to
like,
start
he's
trading,
in.
man.
He's like,
I'm
he's
getting
like, I
back.
ain't got
I'm
time
getting
for
in the
this
game.
anymore. I got
I'm
to
getting
get
in the
back to
game. We
the
can't,
charts.
not tonight, man. Not tonight. I gotta get to the in the game, man. I gotta get in the
I
game.
gotta,
These
I gotta
these
get
I
back
see a
on
lot
it.
of bounces. I see a lot of coins that are hitting their head on resistance. So I love breakouts. I love breakouts. See, I love big dumps because I know big pumps are coming afterwards, especially in a bull run, which we're still in, I believe. In the bear market,
Yeah,
you might get, a pump here, but in the bull run, once you get these huge dips, I remember in 2021, we would get these huge dips, and then it would just boom, it would just pump, and that was when I was making the bulk of my trading during crashes for real, or after a crash, right after a crash. I didn't want to trade every day. I didn't want to do that, look at the charts all day, every day. I was just ready for after a crash. I know a big bounce was happening, and
hmm
then I'll just go in a little bit heavier so I won't have to trade as much. That's my thing.
I
I want
was,
to be
I
off the
was legit
charts.
trading them for a while. Like when I
Yeah,
first started, that's what I was trading. These nasty red days where like it was like
yeah,
down 10, 12%. I was literally like, I'll just buy, see what happens in a
mhm,
week. And I mean, it actually worked pretty well for me, to be honest
it
with
worked. I'm
you.
telling you.
But
Yeah,
I
them
had a,
pumps.
I had a false,
Yeah.
false sense of security, to be fully transparent. Thought I was better than I was.
Hmm.
But that, yeah, man. Well, look, man, I can see even the chat starting to move a little bit. I can see you guys are a little bit happier. We saw Bitcoin at 49K, what, this morning? And now it's already at 56. So,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man,
Reclaim
it's
that
looking good.
59, 60K area, man. We right back to the party.
There
Like
it
it just
is.
all like it's really that simple. Like usually when you get out of a range, when you fall out of a range and you reclaim that range, the probability side is back to the top of the range. So that's what I'll be.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we get back in that range, I might double down on my long and expect us to go back up to 70, 72K.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I'm looking for in the short term is just to retest at least the bottom side of that range, right? Where all
Yeah,
that resistance is.
that's
Like
it. Yeah, we don't
that's
want to get
that's kind of
rejected
what
off of there.
right. And that's what I'm looking for. So like if it's a intraday scalp, it's probably not gonna be much of an intraday, honestly. But if we retest that bottom side of the range, if you're in a short-term trade, that might be an area that maybe you
Yeah.
take that initial investment out or take some kind of
Hmm.
profits. Because I would expect probably at least in the short term a little bit of a pullback. But that
Yeah.
being said, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna wrap this up. I think FD's trying to get some trading in. He's gonna hit the charts, man. He's ready to go. Hopefully, all of you guys enjoyed the show. I know it's a quick hitter, but that's the idea. We kind of wrap things up, give it to you quick, set you up for tomorrow, give you a little bit of hopium, we'll say. But I think we're going to get out of here. FD, man, you got any closing comments?
Hey man, stay the fort, stay the course. Times will look better soon, hopefully. But it's crypto. These things happen, and we know where it's going. That's all I'm gonna keep telling people when they come to me and they be like, "What's happening? What's happening?" Because I got some text messages today, and I just said, "Calm down. you know where it's
Mm-hmm.
going.
Yeah, I texted one of my buddies because I hit him up, just putting some receipts on it. I hit him up months ago, and I was like, "Hey, 50K." I said, "Go ahead, set a limit order right now, 50K." Hit him up today, and I was like, "I told you, dog. I told you,
Yeah.
50K was gonna happen. It's gonna bounce, man." But yeah, I had to follow up on that one, get a little bit of love. But hey, Macho Man said it best when it comes to Bitcoin.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Let's go. All right. And with that, we're going to get out of here. We love you guys. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed today's show, like and subscribe. We'll see you again tomorrow. We're out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.